Hey everybody, B. Dave Walters here. If you're watching this, first of all, thank you for stopping by my Patreon. If you are a patron, or especially if you signed up during my anniversary promotion where we were doing the one-shots, thank you so very much. I really appreciate your support. I literally could not do this without you. And I understand a lot of the feedback that I got is people wanted to keep going, but of course it didn't work for everybody's budget, which believe me, I get. We've all got different obligations, different things that we have to take care of, and not everybody can afford, luxury items like playing games every month. So I wanted to come up with some ways to make it possible, or at least more possible, for people to keep participating if they wanted to. And quite frankly, I'll be honest with you, Patreon's a business. It is a business for me. So it makes sense for me to do everything I can to not only make it as attractive as possible for some of my new patrons to stick around, but also to continue adding new ones. Because of course, the more money I raise here, the less money I have to raise elsewhere, and the more dope things I can do. Like, you guys, I haven't told anybody this, but I'm pretty sure I figured out how to do actual competitive D&D, to actually make an esport out of D&D. I think I figured it out. And everyone that I've shown what I had planned, because, partners and stuff, everyone loves it. Everybody thinks it's great. I'm ready to start testing it, but, things take revenue, which honestly is a big part of why I've been pushing so hard to build up my Patreon, is to be able to try and finance that. And of course, I like, food and electricity and stuff. So let me lay on you what it is that I have planned to upgrade my Patreon with. So I am not taking anything away, so I'm not going to mention everything here that is already written there on the side. I don't know, maybe it's that way, maybe it's that way, but either way, I'm not taking any of that away, I'm adding to it. I am yes-anding past Dave, who is the guy in that video, which is up there. And also, believe it or not, I know I talk about all these different things that I'm into up there. I actually probably really am going to start doing more martial arts stuff soon, because it's like 95% done, but there is a martial arts series that I might be a part of soon. I'm also probably going to be doing some Star Wars fan videos soon, so I'll be taking up the lightsaber again. So when I start practicing more of that stuff, I'll start posting more of that stuff. It's coming soon, though. So yes, this is all in addition to those things. And if you've been following me for any while, I'm jinxing it, of course, now. I'm always plagued by camera trouble, so I'm going to try and move this along, because I think the sooner I finish it, the less chance there is for something to go catastrophically astray. So the first thing, I'm adding to the $5 tier. By the time you see this, I should have changed what's written over there, but at least you'll know this is what's changed. A big feedback I got was I need a Discord server, which is funny because I participate in a ton of Discords, don't have my own. I'm gonna add a Discord for anybody who's at $5 or above. Also going to do a monthly live stream chat about gaming, storytelling, basically kind of an advice, like how I do what I do type thing, because people are always hitting me up about that. How do you get into writing? How do you get into streaming? What makes a good DM? What makes a good player? Talk about that stuff, because I love talking about that stuff. I love nerding out and fanboying and theory crafting things as much as I enjoy doing them. In some cases more than I enjoy doing them. And I also am gonna add an ongoing story that I'm only writing here. When we were doing our electropunk Patreon, I would post an ongoing electropunk novel and electropunk stories. I may do some of that. I may do D&D. Again, I write Dungeons and Dragons: A Darkened Wish. I mean, basically an ongoing narrative that you'll be able to follow. Maybe Vampire, maybe D&D, maybe both, maybe neither. Even, I don't know, but ongoing story. Then at the $10 tier, I'm going to add an ongoing podcast style, or maybe video adventure. Full disclosure, I don't know how I'm going to do that practically. I've been fortunate enough to get my hands on some cameras by a great company called Sub2R, which do a lot of really easy visual effects, and I really want to play with that. But it's a work in progress. But that's something I'm committed to do now. So any of those are going to go to $10 and above. Oh, and that's the other thing. If you buy a higher tier, you get everything on the lower tiers, of course. So somebody who's at 25 gets everything that is at 10, 5, 2, 1, whatever. You get it. So yeah, an ongoing, at least podcast, maybe video, maybe both, maybe we'll evolve. I'm not sure. I'm open to take suggestions, take requests. So for the $15 tier, which is what many of you signed up at, a written monthly D&D adventure or a vampire adventure, some months maybe both, because I'm running vampire and D&D all the time. It's easy to write adventures for those things. So even if you're not signing up at the tier where you're playing with me one-on-one, at least you're going to be getting constant original content that you can use. Which I think you will find to be helpful, because I've gotten a few game credits now, and people seem to be into that. And I literally wrote the same note like 3 times. So even in my own notes, I wrote the same thing over and over again. But yes, that's the tier where I would add in original gaming content that you can take and play with your groups. Then at the $25 tier, which didn't exist before, but I'm adding it in now, you will have a guaranteed one-shot to play with me every 3rd month. So a person that signs up at the $25 tier, that month right then you get to play. And then you get to play again in month 4, you get to play again in month 7. So it still is going to be easier on the pocketbook and still have relatively consistent experiences of getting to play together. And also at the $25 tier for the adventures that I put out, I'll include some like light audio visual stuff. So I might shoot like a video as Victor asking your group to do something, or send like audio recordings that you can play for them, like little elements that you can kind of like zhuzh things up a little bit and kind of make it easier. Or any of the NPCs I voice, or I might record like the intro for the adventure, you know, dope stuff. That will be at the $25 tier. Then at the $50 tier, you will have a guaranteed one shot every other month. So you get to play in month 1 and get to play again in month 3. And the $50 tier will be second in line to play in any other games that I have space in. Because this month, even though I had a ton of people sign up, not everybody's schedules lined up. So there was times where I had a group of 2 new people or 3 new people, and I drew on the players in my existing campaigns to fill in those gaps. So a lot of my existing players got to play a ton this month. Especially Melee Damage, shout out Melee. I think she was in almost all of them, if not all of them. So for the $50 tier, you actually may get to play a lot and may get to play every month, because, you know, I'll call on you when I need help and see if you've got time available, and if so, you're in. But the $100 tier has a guaranteed ongoing campaign every month. So either Vampire or D&D ongoing monthly. And those people get first right of refusal when there's a spot. So let's say I'm running a one-shot for a bunch of $25 people, and I've got 3 of them. I've got 3 spots. The first people I'm going to ask are my $100 people. You know, are you available Tuesday at noon? Are you available Saturday at 4:30? If they're like, yes, those people get the first shot. If they say no, then it goes down to the $50 tier. See who's available there. And honestly, I guess if nobody is available, then it would roll down to the $25 tier. I didn't say that before, but that's what it would be. I would call on those people rather than I just didn't let the game get full. So the value of the top tier, if it is within your ability to do, within your budget, and also my eternal thanks, although everybody's got my eternal thanks no matter what you do, because you're here helping me, and I appreciate that. And quite frankly, if I had thousands and thousands of people at the $2 tier, it would still solve my problem, so there's no wrong answer to this. But at the higher tier, the advantage you get is more games more often, and you're probably going to get to play as much as you want. At the $50 tier, you're guaranteed every once in a while to get to play, and probably still going to get to play as much as you want, honestly. The challenge I run into, again, and I shared this in the chat, is when I'm doing the hands-on stuff, like the games, that is difficult for me because that's time I'm not doing literally anything else. Like the whole world has to stop, and 4 hours is a big chunk, and the time that I'm running 2 games, that's 8 hours. That's the entire day, right? So that is why I kind of have to keep the costs up, because otherwise I sort of run myself ragged, and the revenue's not always there, which I think honestly makes sense. But this is a way that I think we can get across where the people who can't necessarily afford the higher stuff but still want to be able to play can. The people that can afford the higher stuff get to play more. And one last thing, I do have a $300 tier on there, which I call the DM Strippergram. So if you want me to come and run a game for your whole group, honestly, I kind of envision that for stuff like parties, birthdays, where you want to do something special, get your whole team together and have me come in and run it for you. That's there and available too. So Honestly, to tell you the truth, all of this is just me trying to find ways to make it valuable for you to support me, which again, I appreciate, which makes it possible literally to do what I do. I couldn't do what I do without you, so thank you. I'm very much open to suggestions. None of this is set in stone because the only one that has anything to do with this is me. And also, if you've got an idea, like I'm thinking about something like maybe the $100 people get to bring like a guest. Every once in a while or something like that. I think that'd probably be dope. Like you could bring a guest player or something. But you know, again, if you're like, oh my God, I really have my heart set on playing, but I can't afford 50, but I can't afford 30 or whatever, you know, hit me up. We'll work something out. Again, I'm just trying to spread dopeness into the universe, and I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. So hopefully this will be something cool and something that you can enjoy and we can have a lot of fun. So let me know what you think. Again, everything is negotiable, but I think this should be a lot of fun. Hopefully there's something for everybody. And again, like I used to use my old sign off, which you may never even have heard me say, you were great and I love you. Bye-bye.